All of us want to awaken, but none of us want to go through the experience of the terrifying and terrible, agonizing crushing of the personal will and the personal perspective. And the gaining of a new perspective is unbelievably painful. To wrench away the sockets that are fixated on self. I did not want to go through that experience. I did not want to go through personal condemnation and shaming, allegation of the most heinous and ugly things that I believe a man can be accused of. I did not want to go through that simultaneously while learning from a 26-week scan that my little son had birth defects and be offered a late-term abortion. All of these things simultaneously. I didn't want to go to the famous Great Ormond Street Hospital and be present while my little boy has his chest carved open and his heart taken out of his body, although I wasn't there for that bit because they don't have parents in the room for that bit, although I did offer. None of these things did I want. None of these things would I have chosen. Given the choice, I would reject it all. If I was in charge, if I was God, I would have gone, no, I refuse. And I tried to, fool that I am. Iconoclast and idol worshipper that I am, when we got that scan information, while like any sort of prospective parent standing in a room getting a scan, when you in that moment where the person doing the scan, it just goes from the bright and breezy, nice and easy, do you want to get this image on a mug or a key ring for the grandparents? And remember, I'm 3 kids in, so I've been through this process. And when suddenly the scan stops and it's Mr. Brown, you might want to take the children outside. And you know that it's one of those moments where the curtain in the temple is torn, where you know that you're in a different reality now. And I, afterwards, on learning, I said to the woman doing the scan, is this ever going to be nothing again? Is this ever going to be nothing again? Like, is there going to be a person I can pay more money to do a better scan that's going to say, no, it's actually all okay? And she said, no, this is now not nothing. And my wife was immediately, even though it weren't something she was able to articulate, she was immediately empowered, I suppose, in her womanhood, but perhaps beyond even that, her motherhood, because she's herself, 3 children deep. But me, I was like, I'm not going to Great Ormond Street. I'm not having like a child with tubes up its nose. I'm not going for all of that. I rejected it. But now I have been to Great Ormond Street. Now I have been and seen the countless sick children and valiant nurses and doctors that occupy the hallways, corridors and wards of Great Ormond Street. And now I know, who are you, Russell, to reject Great Ormond Street Hospital? Who are you to reject a child that needs heart surgery and that has other challenges to contend with? Because underneath it and beyond it and behind it, what was there? Love. More and more love, like an almost inconceivable love, an inconceivable relief. And indeed, I am privileged to have had the situation of being haunted by the demented spectacle of paparazzi being pursued while I went into an oncology ward for children and walked past, nothing will put your problems of being scandalized in the media into perspective more quickly than other people's children with cancer. Then you recognize where you are. And all of the sort of questions that arise out of why does God allow this to happen or that happen, ultimately amount to preferences. And for me, my life is too challenging to be reliant on a God of personal preferences. I need a God to whom I can absolutely submit and surrender. And when I submit and surrender, and as I have said, it has been through the process of suffering and fear and anguish and brokenness, but now I see both uses of the word broken like a vase, but broken like a wild horse that needed to be tamed, that it could be in alignment with a greater will, with a greater rider. Now I have a different perspective, and on the other side of all of this trauma, and some of this trauma incidentally continues, is God. And this peace that we mentioned formerly, or that passeth all understanding, it has to be, at least my half of the bargain, has to be completely unconditional, as I know his is. And again, both of you, it's an ongoing exploration which remains uncertain for me. I don't feel like, I've done this now. I know I know it lives in the present. So I know that how the fragility and gentleness of it.